Truck Parking Club is a network of instantly reservable daily and monthly truck parking locations throughout the U.S. Truck Parking Club helps connect truckers to truck parking locations throughout the U.S. via truckparkingclub.com. Our networks is made up of property owners that have locations adequate for truck parking to list on the platform. This includes trucking companies, storage companies, CDL schools, trailer leasing companies, real estate investors, truck parking operators, and more. Go to truckparkingclub.com today. All right, welcome back, Troy, from your hunting trip. Well, thank you, being that I am you.
You're weird.
I know. I am back. We didn't have a podcast this past week because I was in the mountains shooting deer. For all you PETA people out there, they taste really good.
Yum, yum.
You know, I met a PETA lady yesterday.
Did you?
Or actually, no, I met a PETA lady at the funeral that we were at today, the memorial services we were at today.
Mm-hmm.
And she was pretty nice. And she was honest. She said, yes, she's PETA. I said, hey, I don't have a problem with that. That's just more meat for me. She actually laughed too. But no, I was serious and she was serious. And I said, I don't really care if somebody eats animals or not. It really doesn't matter. I don't care if somebody likes a Peterbilt or a Freightliner. If whatever you like, if you like deer meat or you like carrots for a dinner, or if you drive a Peterbilt, or if you drive an automatic, a stick shift, I don't care. Mm-hmm. You know, to each is his own. Why are we always on each other's case so much? You ever notice the old generation calls the new generation steering wheel holders? They're just a bunch of steering wheel holders.
I heard that saying already.
Yeah.
I can understand what some, because it's like in the older, like our generation of ones, they got out, we did more. The ones now have it easy.
What? How much easier do they have it? Where do they have it easy?
Well, a lot of the loads now are drop and hook or...
What does that mean?
Well, I just think that back then, when you drove, you're emptying trailers more.
Well, I did LTL, right. So I hand unloaded, but that doesn't mean that there aren't guys today that do that kind of work also.
No, I didn't. I just feel like there was less of it nowadays than there was before. Same with back then, there was lumpers. Now, I don't know. Is there lumpers still out there that you could pay to unload your trailers?
Yeah, but I mean, I will say you're partially right about back in the day, because when you look at the jobs for truck drivers back then, it always said 90% no touch or 95% no touch or 80% no touch. And therefore, most drivers at one point during the week back in the day would either be in the back breaking what they called breaking a load down. You would get in the back and you would knock, like say you were taking a load to Myers or Cisco or whatever, and they wanted the pallets to be lower. Your job would be to knock the top layer off and put it on another set of pallets, or your job would be to count, or your job would be to rearrange, or sometimes you even got what was called a floor load, meaning nothing at all was on a pallet, and you went and had to be the guy picking the boxes up and stacking them on pallets and then shrink wrapping them so that they can put them away. And the terrible thing was the trucker got paid the cheapest freaking wages. It was so hard. I'll never forget the one time I went to Myers up in Lansing, and it was a load of castor oil, heavy boxes. And the guy says to me, okay, you're scheduled for 10 hours in the door. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, you're the guy unloading. And I said, the hell I am. Right? And I was driving for Decker, and they literally said, well, you better call your dispatch then. And I did. I called, and I'll never forget the terminal manager. Her name was Joyce. And she gets on the phone and she goes, Troy, did you sign a piece of paper saying you would unload trucks for $35? I said, I might have, but I didn't mean it.
Psych.
Psych. I said, I'm going to tell you truthfully, I am not going to sit here for 10 hours. It was going on 120 or 140 pallets. So you went from big pallets to what they call little pallets, right? So that they could fit in the Myers box trucks. So I was going to be the load picker for Myers. I was the truck driver for Deckers, the unloader for Myers, and the load picker for Myers. And that was going to be my job. I was going to have to separate because each skid had like, okay, Castro order 10 W50 weight or 20 W30 weight. It was like all these different oils, and I had to be the one breaking it down for them. And when she said, "Didn't you sign a paper to do that?" I said, "I might have, but there's no way I'm going to do it." I said, "I will bobtail. I will leave this trailer here in their door, and I will bobtail back to New Jersey." And everybody's going, "What do you mean New Jersey? Decker's not." That was a different Decker back then. In fact, Pam bought them out, but they had a couple hundred trucks. And then they had a terminal also in Willard, Ohio. Well, they were out of some town in New Jersey. I forget the town. And I said to them, "I will bobtail this truck all the way back, and I will just park it, and I will go home, and we can part company, because I am not unloading a full floor-loaded trailer." Or no, it wasn't floor. It was on Bigwood. I am not going to be in here for 10 hours breaking this down. And you know what she did? She paid a lumper, like $250. She was willing to pay me $35.
Exactly. That's what's sad. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah. So you're going to pay me $35, the dumb trucker, right? But the lumper gets $250. Where does that even compute? You're willing to pay some other clown that hasn't driven all night to get the load here, 9 times the amount of money?
Yeah. And that's when you sit down and you say, okay, what do I get per hour again? And let's see how many miles, not hour. How many miles do I get paid? And how many miles can I drive in that 10-hour period? And would I make actually more money unloading that trailer now for $250?
Well, yeah. Well, if you compute the hourly rate, $35 in 10 hours is about $5 an hour.
Yeah, but what I mean is it would take you 10 hours, but they're not going to pay you $35 an hour. They're going to pay you $35 flat fee. But what your mileage rate was going to be, what would that be with the $250? How many miles could you drive in 10 hours with your mileage rate, which would have been better, is what I was getting at.
Oh, which is kind of weird, but...
Am I normal?
Welcome to Ruthann's mind. Okay, so if you calculate... Okay, so I think I was getting like 27 cents a mile or some rate back then. So if you just figure 10... I forget what the miles were. It's like 700 miles. Now, from New Jersey, I think I picked it up down by Philly. So I don't know. It might have been around 700 miles to get up there, I would guess, because it's like 400 across PA, and till you get up to Lansing. I don't know, maybe 600-700 miles. But anyways, times 30, say even at 30 cents, right? That was like, it was really going to be. I made $180 some probably to drive all night to get there. But I was just thinking, the hourly rate for $35 for 10 hours is only $3 something an hour. So I was going to get like $3 and some cents for an hour. Man, I could have got that operation I needed from all that money they were paying me. No, but seriously, I look at that, and you had brought up, you said, was it easier back then? I guess it wasn't. And now let's say this, these guys that they call steering wheel holders, right? We all were steering wheel holders, though. You know what I mean? Like, when you get out on the road, okay, and you go 700 miles, you're holding a damn steering wheel. That's all you're doing. You're banging a few gears, big deal, and you're just rolling along and driving, But I still believe that every trucker today, whether you a new driver or an old driver, he still has to have the skill to drive, get there, stay awake, and then back it in the door. I mean, he's still a trucker. That's why I started out saying, if you like a Pete, drive a Pete. If you like a Freightliner, drive a Freightliner. If you don't like meat, don't eat meat. If you like carrots and peas, eat that. I don't care. I'm sick and tired of everybody caring what the other guy's doing. Everybody, you ever heard that old expression, keeping up with the Joneses? Everybody's worried about what your neighbor has in his damn driveway. If he's got a better car than you, does he make his house nicer than your house? Who cares, man? Live your damn life. Live your life, okay? And if somebody else wants to be a steering wheel holder and you want to brag about your tough times, I did have it tough, but I'm not really going to put down today's driver over it. And you want to know why? Because the generation before me Those guys had spring breaks. Those guys did not have giant sleepers. My grandfather slept, they carried a 2x6. A 2x6 and put it across the seats for a bed. And my generation goes, oh, these steering wheel holders today, man, because we're the tough guys from the 80s and the 90s. We're not. We're not the tough guys. The guys before us were tougher. And the guys before, what about the Flintstones? When they were trucking, they had to use their feet to get going. I'm just kidding. But no.
They had cab overs with dog boxes.
Yeah.
I remember them.
I'm just saying, like every generation, like it's so funny, man. Like
non-air seat, no air rides.
Yeah, if any of you old bucks that are like in your 70s, 80s, and 90s listening, you know what I'm talking about. You guys had it tougher than my generation, and each generation, you're right, does get it a little easier. In fact, they're working on autonomous trucks where these guys can just sit back and play computer games while the truck's driving, which will be really, really weird, but who knows? What the next generation will be calling this generation, or this?
It would be the Jetsons.
Yeah. This generation that they're saying is steering wheel holders. They'll be calling the next generation. You guys are just texters. You just sitting back and play on your phone because you don't really drive the truck. You don't drive the truck. You're not even a steering wheel holder. You don't even do that. Gosh,
you're nothing but influencers.
You guys just sit back and in the bunk while the truck drives itself, right? Remember the Jetsons? They just push a button and it gets delivered. The next generation after that will be really getting it easy. So, anyways, stop caring about each other in that way. Who gives a crap what the next guy's doing?
Do you remember when the kids were little? You would say, "Tyler, why are you worried about what Jimmy's doing? What are you worried about him? Worry about Tyler. Stop worrying about the other kids." Do you remember that kind of stuff that we used to have to tell the kids because they were so worried about the other kid and what they were doing? Well, they're getting to go and do this. They're getting to do that. And you used to have to tell the kids, don't worry about what the other one's doing. Do your job.
Do you remember when Tyler, I said, why did you get mad at him, Tyler? And he said, because he got in my business. I said, well, right, from this day forth, I'm taking away your business. You no longer have your business. And he just looked at me like, what? What was he, 6? I'm like,
he was just little.
You don't have no more business, boy. Got it? I'll give it back to you someday. But right now, you don't have to worry about anybody getting in your business because you don't even have business.
Now tell him what age was it? How long ago did you give Tyler his business back?
Not long ago.
He forgot about it.
I forgot. I said, hey, by the way, you can have your business back. He's like 30 now. Yeah. But anyways, we were going to take a quick break and get on with the show.
Attention trucking companies and truck drivers. If you need help with cash flow, we've got help on the way. Turn to Tab Bank, the bank that knows trucking. Tab Bank has been in the business of helping truck drivers and trucking companies with their cash flow needs for 25 years. It's just that simple. It's what they do, but they don't stop there. Tab Bank helps grow your business with their invoice, factoring, and banking services. What a plus that is. Before you book your next load, play it safe and contact Tab Bank to get their help with your factoring needs. Tab Bank helps determine the credit worthiness of your customers as well as billing and collection efforts on invoices that you factor with them. Let the experts at Tab Bank get you cash quickly for the loads you deliver. Again, it's what they do. Visit tabbank.com/TalkCDL to learn more. That's tabbank.com/TalkCDL. Tab Bank member FDIC.
If you're a driver looking for a new trucking job, check out NCI. NCI offers the following: new Kenworth T680s, competitive wages, solo, team, and students welcome, plus a full benefit package for you and your family. Check them out today at 888-311-7076. That's 888-7076. And tell them TalkCDL sent you. Drivers, if you're looking for a local, home, everyday driving job, apply with Carter Lumber today. They have positions for Class A and Class B local drivers. They can take experienced drivers, students, and non-CDL drivers. With over 160 locations, chances are they have a position for you. So go to carterlumber.com/TalkCDL and apply today. Again, that's carterlumber.com/TalkCDL. Thank you. All right, we're back. Yeah, I wanted to address a little article that I seen on CDL Life, actually. It says over 100 tickets issued yesterday, just in one day, for semi-truck drivers that are going out of route, crossing in from Tennessee into North Carolina or North Carolina to Tennessee, because, I-40 was washed out, right? Mm-hmm. I-40 was washed out, and what happens is these guys are still getting loads, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to find a shortcut to get across the border of that state area where everything was washed out, and they're going on roads that are like little back roads, windy roads, dirt roads even. They were showing pictures. Like, these guys are like, one guy rolled over in somebody's yard because he's trying to go through this little area where like barely like a little four-wheeler can make it through. Like, you need a four-wheel drive to go through it. This guy's trying to take an 18-wheeler with a 53-foot trailer. So, here's the advice that I would give the trucking company. Okay, first I'm going to start with you guys. If you're that hard up to get your load delivered, okay, the article clearly states that there's only one route that y'all can take, all right, and that's either 77 to 81, go up and then down, or down and then up, or you can take I-40 to US 74, or vice versa. They're the roads that are marked for trucks right now. You guys are getting fines. Don't ask your driver, and not even, in fact, tell your driver not to take the shortcuts. Tell him to drive. It may take a little longer to get there, not much longer, but either way, stay off the roads that are affected. These cops are, they are literally just watching for you guys. They got 100 in one day the other day. On Thursday, I think they got 100 drivers in one shot. Look, I feel for you that your trail is messed up right now, the interstate, but guys, and the other thing is, a lot of them were just listening to their GPS. And it's like, guys, seriously, don't take if you don't, that's the other thing about my generation. And again, I'm not picking on this generation. I said I wouldn't, but guys, you guys got it too easy to where you got Google and Siri and all this other crap. You guys got to learn one thing: how to read an atlas and how to read a way to know where a tractor trailer should be able to go and shouldn't. I'm embarrassed for those guys that end up on a dirt road or in a field, and they literally say it was my GPS that took me here. You got to be stupid to say I went and took my GPS.
Yeah.
Seriously, guys, you guys don't know how dumb that sounds when you say my GPS told me to go under this 10-foot bridge, or my GPS told me to go up the wrong way, or my GPS. There was one guy that he almost drove in the damn ocean here in Florida. He drove right onto the beach. It's like my GPS. Guys, do you know how that sounds, right? When you say that, right? Doing it is just as bad, but after you do it, I don't believe in lying, but I don't think that I'd want to tell a cop, oh, duh, I was so stupid, I followed my GPS. I don't think I'd want to say that. I would just say, "Oop, I made a mistake, officer," and just fine me. I don't even think I'd want to own up to it.
I can't explain my reasonings right now.
Yeah, come on, guys. Come on, man. But anyways, it starts with the companies. You guys should be warning these guys. If you know you got a guy, and look, don't tell me you don't know the way these guys are going. Most of you guys already know where they're going to fuel, their routes and everything. So do yourself a favor and tell these guys up front, do not go off the path on roads, and not just in North Carolina and Tennessee, okay? Not just there. This should be like a common sense thing for trucking companies to warn their drivers about. These are, there's things I would warn my drivers about every day. You know what else it would be? I would tell them, listen, drivers, be careful the way you're driving in and out of traffic. Watch any reckless driving. Be really safety with the public, because why? Number one, you can hurt or kill somebody. But number two, they all have cameras and will record you.
Yeah, I know one.
And they will call police. they will call police and they will get you in trouble, or they will call us and get you fired.
Right.
I would be telling them that every day. And then the common sense thing, stay off the road. Don't drive on ice. Don't drive tired. Little things like that. You trucking companies have a responsibility for your drivers. And you drivers, you have a responsibility to not just listen to your GPS, but to use common sense. And if you don't have common sense, you have a responsibility to get the knowledge of learning how to use an atlas. And I think they're free in a lot of places.
Yeah, I mean, the atlases are really, I mean, they're drivers that should be part of learning it. You know, when you're getting your CDL, you should be able to learn how to read an atlas. GPSs, here's the thing, with your GPSs, they don't update properly, and I can guarantee that most drivers aren't going in there and putting like, you know how you can create in the settings, you know, to do toll roads or not do toll roads. You could put in there with certain ones, you could put that you're trying to avoid certain things. And I know they're not probably doing that. But here's when we go off, we usually use the Google Maps, because Google Maps has a lot of good, like, they're more up-to-date information. And the one thing that Google Maps will do is if they will let people, if you're going down the road and there's an accident, that person can respond right away saying about there's an accident there. And then when you're coming up towards where it's supposed to be, it will ask you, is it still there? And you have the choice to say yes or no so that they can keep going further. If you want to use a method like that to find out updated information, Google Maps is one of the best ones that I know of. I'm sure there's more things out there, especially with truckers that you could do that are app-based, but don't go by the GPS because it doesn't give you updated information.
Okay, moving on. All right, so I got a question for you. Buckee's.
I'm not a fan.
Okay, I was wondering where you were at on that without influencing you in any way. I'm glad you're honest. You're usually pretty straight up and honest about the way you feel about things. There's like this argument that's been going on about truckers versus Buckee's, and you know why? Because you know the signs that say no semi trucks. You know, truckers aren't allowed to park at Buckee's. Do you remember the first time we were in Dickinson down there by Texas, and we were on our way out, and there was a Buckee's, and we stopped there. Actually, we went with your brother over to Buckee's, and first thing I noticed was, hey, look at that. It says no semi trucks. You know, and it's like, to me, I'll say this before we go into like some of the opinions are kind of funny. To me, Buckee's are like so gigantic. They're bigger than truck stops. To me, they could have a section just for tractor trailers.
I think so.
I believe that in every Buckee's I've been to, and I know they're building more right now. But what I noticed in like the back, there's always big room back there to where they could put in like a barrier. You know what I'm saying? Like a wall, not a wall, but like, you know, like a Jersey barrier, just a concrete barriers to where semi trucks could come and go without coming near the cars, without in any way, you know, disturbing the cars. But it's mixed emotions because truckers aren't allowed there. And, you know, it is kind of sad that they don't allow tractor trailers, but they sure get the business, Buckee's is. But I'm going to give you my opinion about Buckee's. What do you think of the food there?
I think it sucks.
So did I. I'm like the brisket, like they have one here on I-75 now in Florida. And like we tasted the brisket. I was like, you know, the only thing I like are those cinnamon pecans. You know, but they're pretty hard to mess up. You just, you know, roast them with cinnamon on it, right? Or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, that little, and you could buy them anywhere.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't.
Their bathrooms were nice, but still. Yeah, I mean, I don't like them.
You know, it's actually one of the things they wrote up, but I didn't think the men's bathroom was the greatest when I went in. It kind of seemed like, remember I told you that one time I went in, like half the toilets looked like they were exploded and they weren't working right. It says truck drivers once again having the Buckee's discussion, worth the hassle or a shameful tourist trap? ? It says truckers on Reddit are divided. As always, about the popular, massive, notoriously clean and well-stocked gas station chain one driver called the Six Flags of gas stations, known for its plentiful. And you know what, to me, you know what I think probably why we don't like it so much? What does Florida have more than anybody we've ever seen?
Old people. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that is true. We do have a lot of them. But they're not here long. I shouldn't say that. There's always a new batch. But no. What do we have what do we have like more than anybody? Gift shops.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what Buccee.
Plentiful.
Doesn't Bucky's remind you of an oversized gift shop?
I mean, you walk in there and there's just, what gas station does they really need to have kitchenware? What, hello.
Right. I mean, there was
bathing suits.
Yeah, bathing suits, hats. They even have like a section for like high-end sunglasses. They have a section for trapping and hunting. They have a section. Do you remember that one section? I think they had lamps and all kind of like decor.
Yeah, that's like,
for
everything.
decorating your house. It's like, what is this place really? What is Bucky's?
A trap.
And it's not cheap. This stuff isn't cheap.
Nope.
So I mean, somebody's got to pay for the gigantic business they have there.
I can say this, and I have no problem saying why I don't like Bucky's. One of the reasons.
Tell me.
Well, what does, and I know right now I'm going to get at least one or two laughs out there. What do y'all men that are truck drivers call a woman?
Lot lizard?
No.
Oh, what? Sorry. So, a woman. Oh.
If you're driving, because I would hear it on the CB and I'd be like, ugh.
I don't know. Tell me. What?
I'm just doing a motion here.
I know. Just say
I
it.
want to say it. A beaver.
Oh.
And what's Bucky's?
The beaver.
I hate it. I hate it.
So truckers call women beavers?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I have a hard time going to a store and wearing something with a shirt on it that's saying exactly what I'm supposed to be called. I don't like it.
Well, I'm not a fan of Bucky's just because, like I said, it just seems to me like an oversized gift shop. That's really what it seems like to me.
It is. It's an oversized junk foodie gift shop.
Like I said, I didn't care for, and some people might really like the way they make their foods, but I didn't care for the foods that much. And they got like that giant, area with all the cookies and the, of course, Rebecca liked that.
Mm-hmm.
But
the pastry section.
Yeah.
And I could tell you, I've known quite a few people that have gotten sick after eating their food.
So it says commenting truckers largely came at the question from one of two sides. Banning semi-trucks makes sense due to logistics, profit, and the sloppy tendencies of some drivers, and banning semi-trucks is disrespectful to important job truckers do, and the company should be ashamed. So you either have a group of truckers that's saying, we understand that trucks are a nuisance, and we understand that truckers leave their piss bottles and all kind of stuff and oil leaks and all this other stuff, and they tear up the parking lot. This is what these truckers are saying, not me. Okay, I'm staying out of it. I'm just giving you what they said. And some say that they should be ashamed of themselves for keeping truckers out. I mean, and again, what did I say in the beginning? I think they can make a section because of the actual size they buy in landmass. Mm-hmm. It's huge. Okay, so here's some of the trucker quotes. Now, it doesn't give the trucker's name, but I'll just say trucker number one. It says big ass gas station, barbecue breakfast, foods, jerky, shit ton of snack choices, clean restrooms with tons of stalls, no trucks allowed. Truckers here will shit on it because they aren't allowed to park on their property. But it's understandable once you see how much car traffic there is and how dirty some truck drivers are. And, again, here's my take on truckers, because that's my whole life, right? I trucked. My family trucked. The truckers that I grew up with, they were respectful, okay? And they knew to clean up after themselves. But when I got on the road, over the road, that wasn't always the case.
No.
In fact, remember the long haul bandits? Mm-hmm. Their big thing was going into a truck stop and picking up the trash.
Yeah, they went trying to go old school, bringing the
Right.
respectable driver.
Right. And you see, it's not the 90% of good ones. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the 90% of good ones. That old saying, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch.
Yeah.
So what happens is you have like, say, 1,000 trucks that might pass through a truck stop in a day. Out of that 1,000, you might have 50 of them get out and just piss on the parking lot, or literally open the piss bottles up and just pour them out into the parking lot. Okay? Instead of just getting out, taking your piss bottles, and just keep them sealed and throw them in the garbage. You got plenty of bottles. You're going to buy a new Pepsi bottle or Coke or water. You can use fresh bottles. But again, I'm not in any ways saying anything about the truck drivers that don't do that. Most of those guys agree with us. They would rather see these guys not be allowed on the parking lots. But the problem is those guys that, remember Walmart was telling us, the manager, he said, man, I came out here a couple times, he said, and some of those truck drivers changed their damn oil and left a pan of oil right there in the parking lot. He said this happened several times. And then, of course, the parking lot in Walmart started smelling like piss. This is the problem, is you get one or two guys that do this, and then they think every trucker does it. And not every trucker does do that.
No.
I mean, I understand what it's like to be over the road and be going down the road and you have to take a leak. You don't know anywhere to go. You pull the side of the road and you go between the tires. Big deal. Okay, you're on the road. You're not really affecting anybody. But, man, when you get into a truck stop where everybody's going to keep coming every night, and you got to take a leak, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, you decide, I'm tired, I'm just going to climb down and go between the tires and piss right here. Well, guys, all you're doing is creating the smell that all the other good truckers are going to hate. All the people that are not truckers can smell it going in and out of the gas pumps, and therefore you're not only giving yourself a bad reputation, but you're giving the good truckers a bad reputation.
Right.
So this is what this trucker's talking about. He said he understands that because it's offensive to most people, but, you got that one or two guys that keep doing it.
They have that not weird mentality. I don't want to say it in a demeaning way, but they got this mentality that oh, well, it's not my problem. Who cares? That I don't need to be better, because just making a few changes actually how you feel about yourself too sometimes. Maybe they just don't want to do something better by not dirtying up the outside. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, and there's a bunch of truckers in here that are saying, screw Buckee's. And I'm one to say screw Buckee's. I don't like overpriced gift shops. That's really all Buckee's is to me. No. So I could really care less if they allow truckers or not, because I don't really go to Buckee's. Every now and then if we're going to buy one and we have to stop, we'll stop at a Buckee's, but I come away with some of those pecans. That's it. I don't really get anything there. Because they're
fountain soda.
Yeah, everything's expensive.
Yeah, the only thing I get there is what I have if I have to go to the bathroom. Yeah. If I don't have to go into I'm not one that says, "Oh, let's stop at Buckee's."
Right. If I were you truck drivers, I wouldn't be offended, because they're not that great. Like you said, they suck. Their food is not that good. I don't like them. So, with that being said, it is what it is. And I guess that argument's going to go on. And remember what I said in the beginning. I don't care if you drive a Pete. I don't care if you eat meat. Guess what? I don't care if you go to Buckee's or not. I don't really care. And I don't care if a business wants to keep us out of there, for said reason. Listen, guys, the one thing you got to remember, there's a reason why Walmart kicked all truckers off their parking lot.
The place that's made in fun of for people dressing funky.
Right. The one place, the cheap store, has kicked truckers off, not the good truckers. The good truckers, they respect places. Okay. Again, I gotta always say that, because when you say the word trucker, it almost sounds like you're generalizing, and I'm not even coming close to generalizing. I know 90% of these guys are really good guys when it comes to respect, but there's a reason why Walmart said, you guys are out of here. You know what I mean? You're out of here. They didn't kick campers out.
No, they're still there.
The campers are still there, but they kicked all semi trucks out, most of them. Okay, and that's probably why Bucky's is saying no. You know, who knows? Maybe Bucky knows Sam Walmart. I don't know. But the bottom line is, guys, one bad apple, and that's really what it comes down to. Moving on from the Bucky's thing. Gosh, I got to watch how I word things because I don't want, some people go, oh, gosh, Troy, you have a trucking podcast and you're putting truckers down, man. No, I'm not. I'm putting the asshole trucker down. There are asshole truckers, believe me. I know some. I was one. No, I'm serious. Okay, moving on. Blah, 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 blah. Gosh, I was playing around on Google. I just want to whip out a couple statistics. You know me in numbers. I was playing around with the accident thing. And I know I read this before. I'm just going to mention it. The states with the most tractor trailer only accidents: Texas, California, Florida, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee, which are the most populated states. Then I asked, what's the largest automobile, any kind of accident in history? What's the largest? And I didn't know this. It says in the fog-shrouded Los Angeles in November 3rd of 2002, it says history bore witness to what remains the largest multi-vehicle accident in U.S. history.
Really?
Astonishingly, there were no fatalities, which is really crazy because it's the biggest. It says, but the collision was involving 216 vehicles.
Wow.
I know, man. Had 41 injuries. And it says, and 41 injuries occurred when a tractor trailer collided with a concrete divider. So somehow there was a tractor trailer that was involved in that one where injuries happened. So I asked this because there's a lot of pileups these days. Mm-hmm. So I asked this: should you stay in your vehicle during a pileup? And it says, speaking of people walking away from car crashes, don't leave your car immediately. It sounds counterintuitive, but you are usually safer inside your vehicle, which I agree with. During a multi-car pileup, an accident involving one or two cars can swiftly see more vehicles succumbing to the same hazard and crashing into the mess. And we've seen some of these pileups where I was watching a video the other day. There was a guy, he literally got out of his vehicle, right? And he starts, what do you do? Whips out
videoing.
He starts videoing everything, right? And he's like on the side, but you got to know, dude, you're videoing. There's one going to come at you eventually. And all of a sudden, here comes one sliding into him, and it smashed into his vehicle. He said, oh, my God, there goes my Charger, right? And when it hit, the car smashed. It looked like it was going a million miles an hour, and it hit, and he was standing by it, and it literally, it was like the perfect spot he was in, because when it hit, it spun and missed him altogether. He would have been dead. Yeah. So, yes, stay in your vehicle. My thing is, I have seen, and this is scary, I've seen pilots where cars and a semi-truck is coming, and you're at the back of another semi, and there's semi-trucks coming in. My advice at that, if you come into a pileup and you're up against a semi-truck and nobody's crashed up your butt yet, and it's icy and slippery behind you, and there's already a mess in front of you of a bunch of a pileup, there's a good chance somebody's going to come along and squish you like a pancake. Yeah. If it was me, I'd be getting my family up the bank or wherever I am out of harm's way, no matter what, because I would want at least traffic to come stop behind me before I go and get back into my warm vehicle. Mm-hmm. Because I'm telling you that it can be real dangerous for a car when semi-trucks are crashing into each other. Right.
There is so many considerations that you have to look at when it comes to pileups. I actually am surprised that, there was that one up north in the Midwest but that was like 30 some, or was it 30 some or 70 some? The cars in the snow, that one pileup.
There's so many of them nowadays. I can't keep track of.
Right, but I'm trying to remember what the one was. I can't remember. I want to say 41 cars were tractor trailers. It was 41 or 71. Oh. But it's like you sit there and you're watching it, and they started videoing it, and they're like, "Here comes another one," and then it would be like seconds later, like not like maybe close to a minute even oh, here comes another one. Are they going to stop? And you just see, they don't even, it's like they don't even pay attention. All of a sudden they're up against it, and then boom, they go into another vehicle.
I would tell everybody, as you're driving this winter, number one, you're the captain, and we always say you're the captain of the ship. Don't let anybody talk you into driving if you don't feel that it's safe. But the other thing that I would tell everybody is, when roads start getting slippery, that means slow down. When I was a kid, some of my friends ended up getting 4-wheel drives. Well, they all wrecked because they didn't realize that, okay, 4-wheel drive will get you going faster, but when you hit your brakes in the ice, you all slide the same speed.
Right.
So if your 4-wheel drive is going really, really fast, then you hit the brakes, you're going to just slide faster. One of the things about truckers, okay, somehow they get this confidence that, okay, I can handle it. It's all over the road here. I'm in packed snow. It doesn't matter, guys. When you go to stop, it's going to be a lot harder. I asked the question, why do pileups happen? It says, according to some studies, the most common cause of multi-vehicle collisions is poor visibility. This can happen during heavy fog, smoke, rainstorm, snowstorm, or weather conditions. And guys, any kind of precipitation for below 33 degrees is, in fact, when it gets down to 33, if it's misting, I would tell everybody, if the speed limit's 70, I would be dropping it down to 65. I'd be going slower. And if you don't have a CB, shame on you. I mean that.
I agree.
Shame on you, because I am getting emails and I'm seeing more drivers saying that they own. We did a poll not long ago, and it was like 68 or 78%. I should pull it up. But we did a poll about a CB, who owns a CB and who uses it. And one of the answers was, I have one, I wouldn't leave home without it. I think it was either 68 or 78% of drivers said, yes, I own it and I won't go anywhere without it. Well, good for you, driver. Very good. I'm really glad to see that the CB is making a comeback. And then you still have those guys that say, oh, I put my CB down 10 years ago and I haven't had one wreck. You just got to drive with sense. And you know what? I do agree with that guy. You do have to drive with sense. If you're a guy that don't have a CB, okay, I'm not going to put you down. I believe you should have one. But if you're a guy that doesn't have a CB, my advice to everybody, whether you have a CB or not, you guys gotta use common sense. When weather or visibility is not good, you slow down. And I'm going to tell you something. That riding in a pack because you think you're cool, you got a little convoy going, and you're running 5 feet apart from each other, 10 feet apart from. All you need is the guy you don't know, 2 trucks up, to wreck. You know him, you trust that guy with your life, and you're driving that close to each other. You know how they run, right? And I used to do it too, and it was stupidity. So my big thing is, guys, your most precious cargo is your own little butt, delivering it home every week or every couple of weeks to your family. That's your main delivery. And if you're out there and you're not using common sense, you're going to be eventually a number. You're going to be a statistic eventually, because I'm telling you, I got into a pileup myself once. But it wasn't in a rig. It was in a car. You remember when I was in Columbus? And it wasn't in bad weather. It was just when I was a young guy and I thought I could brake. I would ride so close to somebody and I thought I can handle it. I thought my reactions were perfect. And one day we were all going through Columbus and we were hauling it, right? I had what was that? An Eagle?
Eagle Premier.
Eagle Premier. And it was a really nice little car. And I was a third vehicle, and we were cruising, and all of a sudden, brake lights came on. And those brake lights didn't come on lightly. They came on, and it was boom, boom, right? The guy in front of me hit, and I hit him. Boom, boom, just like that. And my vehicle went away on a flatbed. I got towed away. You had to come to Columbus to pick me up.
Yes, I do remember it.
Right, and so... And that was just in dry weather, thinking that I was better than everybody. Now imagine a tractor trailer that doesn't stop on the dime. You guys, you're not going to be able to handle it. I'm telling you. We care about you guys. So anyways, I don't want to sound like a mother hen. I would just tell you guys that these pileups are getting, to me, it seems like more frequent every year. And unless you want to get involved in one, if I was back on the road, I'd be like, one of the things, one of my big concerns was low bridges, because I used to run New York City a lot. Now, I think one of my big concerns would be getting into a pileup. I'd be, I wouldn't want to get caught up in okay, I got my phone and I'm talking on the phone all the time with somebody now on my Blue Parrot, talking on the phone with people all over the country instead of, driving is a job when you're a trucker, and holding my attention on the road with a CB and with watching my mirrors and watching the weather and at all times in check,
right,
because of safety. So anyways, I got another question or two I asked Google real quick. I'm going to read it fast. What car has killed the most? Ooh.
Car?
Yeah, what vehicle? And this isn't semi-trucks, it's regular cars. Truckers drive cars too, and pickups. The number one killer, Ford F-Series. 10,845 people have died in a Ford F-150.
See, I know I didn't. We don't drive Ford, so.
I think this was just like in 1 year. I'm not even sure. I don't have the thingy. I don't want to. Actually, I think it was a 2-year study, like 21 through 23 or something like that. Number 2 was Chevy Silverado, 7,718. Number 3 was a Honda Accord, 5,079. Number 4, Toyota Camry with 4,734 deaths. Number 5, the Ram pickup. Fatal crashes, 4,734. The next one would be Honda Civic. The next one was a Toyota Corolla. The next one was a Ford Explorer. The next one was a Nissan Altima. And then the last one, number 10, was a GMC Sierra with 3,245. Interesting. And one last question. Which state has the most vehicle fatalities? Which one do you think it is? You'll never guess. You'll never guess it.
The state with the most vehicle fatalities.
I'll give you a little hint. It rhymes with Mississippi. And it's not Florida. Seriously, Mississippi has the highest number of fatal car accidents per population, with 22.2 deaths per 100,000 people. The number correlates with Mississippi drivers admitting to spending 8% of driving time on their phones. The state also sits amongst the lowest seatbelt usage in the country. So in Mississippi, they admitted to using their phone, 8% of them, and they are the state that doesn't use their seatbelt.
Avoid Mississippi.
Yes.
Avoid it at all costs.
But they are nice people in Mississippi, I got to admit it. They're very polite people. I don't remember meeting anybody.
They're very sociable.
They're very, very nice people.
They're on their phones all the time. They're sociable.
All right. Anyways, that's the podcast for the week. And Ruthann, do you have the word of the day from Word Genius today?
I do.
Awesome. Let's hear it. Let us hear it.
Beldum.
Beldum? B-E-L-D.
Beldum.
B-E-L-D-U-M?
D-A-M. Beldam.
Beldam.
B-E-L-D-A-M.
Go ahead. What is Beldam?
An old woman.
Really?
A witch.
Really?
Yeah. An old woman.
A beldam.
An old woman or a witch. So the beldam down the street lives alone and independently despite her age. Or Helen grew her own herbs and sold tinctures at the local market, earning her a reputation as a beldam.
Okay. Now I'll have to use that word.
Yeah, not on me.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, listen, I want to be, in case we don't wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. The season is upon us. And hopefully everybody will be safe out there. And hopefully you truckers get out and do some caroling. You guys, I wonder if most people even know what caroling is.
We should have drivers send us a picture of your tractor decorated for the holiday.
Yeah, you did that every year so far.
Yeah.
And they send us some nice pictures.
Yeah, I got some really good ones last year.
Send us your decorated trucks. We'd like to put them on TalkCDL. If you got a video, like a 20-second or less video of the truck, a walk around, or have somebody video and you're coming down the street, we will put it on TalkCDL.
And if you're a part of Wreaths Through America or Wreaths of America, let us know that too.
Yeah, awesome. I just seen a video of the, I guess the New York City tree, they brought it in. It was interesting to see because they were showing how they put it up. And like they put this giant rod in it, to stand it up with a crane. And it's pretty cool, actually. I posted it on TalkCDL.
Actually, it's Wreaths Across America. I didn't word it right, so I wanted to correct myself.
Oh, okay. All right. We're out of here.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.